I think living within nature in itself is a great thing.
Right.
You know, you wake up in the morning and you find all kinds of birds, you know, flying all over the place, because there are flowers all over the place, and they are
Yes.
trying to pitch in there, and they are chirping all over the place, and there's some tranquility, some peace.
Peace.
You know, and it works out beautiful.
It works out beautifully,
Plus,
right?
plus,
Okay.
plus, when you reduce the hard surfaces within a development,
Okay.
it reduces the potential for flooding
Okay.
in the area, because you do not create the opportunity to trap too much rainwater. You allow it to percolate very easily into the ground.
Right.
So most of our yards have grassing and, you know, soft spaces,
Oh.
just so that the water doesn't all collect and begin to now want to find their way about, and then it creates potential flooding.
Right.
But you allow only the ones that are falling on the road to want to find their spaces into underground drains, and then everything is so beautifully laid out, and
Right.
everything just flows very
Oh,
nicely.
see how Uncle Sam is describing everything. You see what goes into crafting the homes you're seeing on your screen.
I think every client comes with their own peculiarity. I mean, just as we're all different, you know. So one of the things we do is just to have a chat with you. Some will say an interview, but I like to call it a chat, because we're basically trying to understand who you are, what kind of family setup you have, what's your background. So just to be able to appreciate, you know, who the client is. And I'll just give you one example for lack of time. I remember there was a client who we engaged, who we started to talk about the design and what they wanted. And the house type they selected had a typical L-shaped design for the kitchen. So from a design point, we call it a kitchen triangle, where you have the fridge, the cooker, and then the sink, which are the three key pillars of, you know, your kitchen. But as we engaged and as we spoke and I got a better understanding of his family setup, I threw in the idea that I thought for the age at which his kids were, and just the family setup, it would be a great idea to have a kitchen island, you know, an island in the kitchen, because then that is additional workspace where the kids can do their homework. You can also have the cooking, but it offers you more social interaction in the kitchen space. And initially, he didn't quite like the idea, because he thought it would make the space a bit, you know, crowded. But we made some adjustments, and he's absolutely thrilled that he made that choice. You know, so those are kinds of things that we engage our clients on.
Okay, Samia, I'm sure you also have experiences to share in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, we've had different clients with different needs. When it comes to exterior works, some have come with...
Welcome to BuilderRex, your trusted home builders in Ghana. Whether you're here or abroad, we make home building easy. Choose from our smart and customizable designs that fit your lifestyle. We deliver your finished home in just 6 months. Let's build your home the right way. Contact BuilderRex today.
With all kinds of ideas, you know, we try to influence some of the things that they want to put exteriorly, just so that it doesn't crowd or impede their frontages.
Right.
And, you know, they come with all kinds of peculiar ideas. There was one case that eventually their choice didn't quite work out the way and after the fact, then they began to realize that we were right.
We're available. Talk to us. If you need some advice, engage with us. We'll share our experiences with you, you know, and it will save you a whole lot when you're making your decisions.
It will save you a whole lot when you're making your decisions.
Well, I think one of the very, very important things you need to look at from the outset is whether the developer has title to the land on which they are building. It's important because being in this industry for this long, I know of various cases in which the developer doesn't have title. He's now trying to perfect his title and has gone ahead to start developing, only for some issues to come up, later on down the line. So that kind of due diligence is very, very extremely important. You don't want to part with money until you're sure that the developer has title, to the land on which they are building. So that's one of the critical things I'll say you should look out for from day one.
Right. How about leases?
Yes, once you are certain that they have title and they can pass on the title, then the next thing you need to look at is what are they offering? What lease are they offering? How long is the lease? Is it a 50-year or much longer? Is it renewable? Under what conditions will they renew the lease, and so on? So those are the next stage of questions that you should be asking.
So what makes an ideal lease then?
Ideally, I think we're used to tenures of 99 years, but I'm aware that depending on where you acquire the lands from or where the developer acquired the lands from, it may or may not be 99 years. In some cases, 70 years, 75 years, and so on. So, yeah, anything within that range, I think, will seem pretty reasonable. Obviously, by that time, you may not be there, but your kids obviously will have the opportunity to renew the lease and extend it.
Okay.
The value of your properties would be informed by the unexpired term of your lease as well. So even though you would want to look at the unexpired term, conditions like Kobna spoke about of the renewal terms, the renewal conditions, the option to have a renewal, and when you are going to have that option for how long will also equally feed into your decision. And it's important because most lands these days in Ghana have moved away from the freeholds. You would hardly find any freehold lands. A few still exist, but most lands are leasehold, and most developers acquire them as such. And when they acquire it, they can only pass on what they have. They can't pass on more than has been given to them, and of course there would always be renewal clauses that are in there. It's important to find out whether at all there are new renewal clauses. If you have terminal clauses that at the end of this period, the entire thing reverts, you should be informed by that, and it's a very important, very important point.
Right. You made a point about off-plan properties. I would like you to shed more light on that.
Well, off-plan, I'll leave it with Kwabena.
Okay, Kwabena, I'll have you take that.
Well, as the name suggests, you're selling off the plan. So
Right.
the house hasn't been built yet. All you have is a plan. And the prospective buyer then will select any of the plans and then have a relationship with the developer where he builds for you. Usually the construction will take a while, so the house is really not ready as you walked in on the first day to have your keys, even if you had all the money to pay for it. And there are also arrangements, either you pay in stages as the house is being built, or you can take a mortgage from one of the mortgage companies to pay for the house. So buying off plan essentially means the house is not built.
Okay.
But at least you may have some similar types of houses that have been built by the developer, which you can visit and just familiarize yourself with it. It could give you ideas on how you'd like to finish the interior of your home, for example. As you walk through the space, is the kitchen the right size for me? Is the dining room okay? Do I want it bigger? Then you can start to think through those and have those kinds of discussions with the developer if you want to make some changes.
Welcome to BuilderRex, your trusted home builders in Ghana. Whether you're here or abroad, we make home building easy. Choose from our smart and customizable designs that fit your lifestyle. We deliver your finished home in just 6 months. Let's build your home the right way. Contact BuilderRex today.